What's going on YouTube? This is yours truly, Dre the Plug, coming at you live with some more technical heat. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button below. Make sure y'all hit that bell button below so y'all can stay notified every single time I drop new technical heat. But let's get back into these interviews. Roll the clip.
My name is Samara. I am a web developer from Massachusetts. I went to Sanford Brown College, got my associate's degree in business administration. And after that, kind of left and went exploring in terms of, the workforce to kind of see, what piqued my interest and the kind of things that I liked. I always was interested in tech, but more so in, just a little intimidated and wasn't sure if it was something that I could actually do. So, I guess my insecurity in that kind of hindered me in even trying for a long time. During quarantine, I've kind of been on a personal development journey, and it kind of piqued my interest wanting to know about how, the back end of like websites worked and web applications. And yeah, once I, started doing that research, I came across tutorials. I watched a whole bunch of YouTube videos of people developing, and then I started following along with the tutorials, and from there I just kind of fell in love with it, and and kind of never looked back. I started self-teaching from there, taking courses on Udemy, taking courses on Free Code Camp, and then started pursuing some contract positions. Over the summer I freelanced as a front-end developer for an online education company, just kind of helping them create templates for their blog to migrate from one CRM to the other and kind of migrate from an old software to a new software. And that's kind of been my experience so far. I am finishing up a web application that I'm building, and looking for full-time positions now.
Okay, so you touched on being a front end and a back end developer, but what actually made you, decide to choose both of them? I know some people, they'll pick one. Some people say they like back end because they like the whole logistics behind the scenes with all the functionality. And then some people like the front end because they like the visual effect of like how pleasing it is when it comes down to actually using the application. So why did you end up choosing this field?
The reason why I actually kind of prefer back end more, and it's probably just because I love working with data more than the visual front end stuff. I really like working with information. I've always been very like techie in that way, where I've always done positions where I'm more like on the analytical side of processing data through spreadsheets and things like that. So I've always been interested in that part of my work in general, even before I got into web development. So when I got into it, I realized that I naturally gravitated towards the back end because I really like figuring out how things work and like figuring out functions, like breaking stuff and then fixing it again. Like that part of it is very interesting to me.
Okay, so what's something that you did not expect jumping into this field?
Okay, so something that I didn't expect was just the support and community, because you know what, I remember like really wanting to get into tech when I was in college in 2011, and there was like nothing and nobody out here that was doing anything like related to that. So there wasn't that community and that support. So I was very like, and that kind of is what made me feel comfortable, like dipping my foot in, dipping my toe in, like knowing like, okay, there's other people that are doing it, and I can have, like a little bit of support. I can maybe, talk to people and, build community like around this, and kind of like have that support and, guidance from somewhere. So like that was something that I didn't expect, that I'm really glad is the case, because it definitely helps to have like that support when you're coming into like a new industry like this.
All right, Samara, so what got you into your side hustle?
So I got into my side hustle because I have always like gotten comments and, positive comments on the t-shirts I wear. And I always love wearing t-shirts that have like, positive messages or, just something uplifting to kind of, get me in a good mood. So like between that and I started kind of researching more and more about e-commerce as I got more comfortable with coding. So that is kind of what led me to starting the brand, was because I was like, oh, I really want to, be able to share like what I'm learning as far as personal development. I've been working with a personal coach, and it's been, like I've been learning a lot, and I'm like, I really want to like share what I'm learning in hopes that, it would help somebody else like it's going to help me, so I figured like it's a good way to share the message, and, I can also apply my coding skills as well. So it's been really great being able to like, navigate that, and just kind of like learn something new, learn about building a business, learn more about coding, and, kind of apply what I've been learning as far as, personal development goes.
What's some of the best advice that you would give to a woman out there that will want to be in front end and back end and they just feel a little bit discouraged?
I would say to go for it. You're gonna be nervous going in. You're probably gonna be nervous the whole entire way. Um, if you don't understand something, take a break. Don't give up. Just, take a break, take a snack break, a day break if you have to, but get back to it. And also really focus on the concepts, because for me, the syntax in the beginning was like, like I didn't understand what I was looking at all. Like it looked like a whole different language. So it's really like focusing, really learning the concepts and understanding everything behind the concepts makes looking at the syntax and understanding how the syntax correlates to the concepts. It helps so much as far as like, really learning and understanding that. It took me a while to get there, but now that I'm understanding, like, oh yeah, like I get it. And when I look at other coding languages, I'm like, oh yeah, I get it. So I realized, like, for me, that's super important. And even with working with Tech Girls Code, that's something that she also, focuses on, and it makes a huge difference when you're learning like how to code for the first time, is like those concepts. So yeah, just focus on the concepts, dive in. There's no need to wait. If you want to do it today, right now, and just start.
Okay, I see that you have your website linked to your Instagram, but what actually, made you come up with a whole process, or what was the whole routine when it came down to creating your whole website from start to finish? I know that had to have been some difficulties throughout the way when it came down to creating your very first one, and the website looked really, really smooth.
I mean, my that was kind of like my first project, and yeah, I mean, in the beginning, it was more so going through websites. So initially, before I even started, I did have a process where I would go through multiple other websites that I liked, how they looked and how they functioned, and I would go through the developer tools. That's kind of something huge for me that I do like, because it allows me to like look at all the folders, look at all the code, and really get a feel for like how the other websites work. So once I did that, I did kind of take a course on how to, set up the themes and how to work with like, different types of functions in Shopify. And kind of took those courses just to kind of understand how that platform works in general. And once I did that, then yeah, like I just, kind of started working on the back end, same thing, figuring out what functions I needed to work. And honestly, like really looking at other websites, trying to like, practice their functionality, and, look at mine and kind of do the same thing. And yeah, and that's how I was able to do it. It was really just, practicing, like really observing, using the other websites, going through the developer tools, going through the code, and really like, taking that as well as the things that I was learning. I do have, books here that I kind of use all the way through to kind of, create functions, define the functions, and all those kind of things to create my site. So yeah, it was a little bit of a process, but but I got it to work, and I am still working on it. So I am still, kind of still, tinkering and updating things here and there. But yeah, it's coming along.
Okay, so you touched on the fact that you're in a nonprofit organization that revolves around a tech startup. Can you kind of touch on some of the projects that y'all have going on within this nonprofit organization?
So I am actually a part of the outreach committee for a nonprofit called Common Rent, and they are located in Massachusetts. They are actually in the process of developing a software that would allow for um, applications for affordable housing across the whole entire state of Massachusetts, and the goal is to have it national, where applications would be tracked, lotteries would be tracked, all this data that would normally be in paper, in folders or in boxes, within the government offices, would all be unified into one like national system. So that's kind of, I'm working with with the founder, as well as the board, and together, they've been kind of building everything from the ground up, getting funding. I am assisting as an SEO strategist and a web developer for them, as well as a team of other amazing people who are handling the branding and everything else, and the fundraising. So yeah, it's been a really interesting an interesting experience, just because I also came from working for the state. So I think that's probably why too I had a little bit of like a soft spot for that, because I was like, oh man, like I know it's difficult because I used to work for the state, and it gets tough with government agencies. So to be able to streamline something like housing is like huge. So yeah, I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Okay, tell the people your Instagram so they can stay in contact. They may want to even get a more in-depth explanation about how your website was created. So definitely let the people know your website and all that good information.
My Instagram page is decipherthecode.sam. And my website where my t-shirts are sold, where you can find them, is acepositivetees.com. This is actually one of my shirts. It says armed with the best gear, God's will and no fear. So that's one of our designs. And same thing, just inspirational messages to hopefully uplift you, as you go on about your life and your day, to kind of continue to give you that motivation to keep going forward. But yeah, so you can reach me there. Yeah, feel free to visit my page, the website, and send a DM.
On the beat, boy.
And that concludes this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. It really do help my channel when it comes down to the YouTube algorithm. If you guys have any questions regarding anything, just hit me up on Instagram, hit me up on the gram at DreThePlug123. And then also go check out my other YouTube channel. This is actually my second channel. My first one was called Andre Classic Cuts. I basically go in and give tutorials about all types of different haircuts. I actually show people how to do different type of things with the clippers that has never been done, and I pretty much go into detail as to why certain things happen. So definitely go check out that channel. Besides that, be on the lookout for my next content that's dropping. Be on the lookout for it because it's coming real soon. And I'm out.